and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the internet, the Jon Campea Show, coming to you from right here on my YouTube channel. I'm, of course, your host, Jon Campea, and it's an awesome honor and privilege to have you guys joining me here today, as it is every day, as we talk about our favorite things in the world, movies, movie news, a lot of stuff to talk about at Comic-Con. Trailers galore. I'm sure someone's going to bring up Titans, Aquaman, Shazam, Glass, Godzilla, The Gifted Season 2, whole bunch of stuff we're going to talk about. Now, before we get to any of that stuff, I want to mention something here off the top. As many of you guys heard and found out on Friday, a friend to the entire online film fan world, a friend to the entire geek community world, Jon Schnepp, passed away. And, it was an added bit of bittersweetness that I was staying at a place in San Diego where the last time I stayed there, Schnepp was with me, that you can see in the graphics there. And that was additionally bittersweet about that. Now, one of the things I'm going to say about this is I'm not going to talk about Schnepp a lot today, if at all today. And because for a couple of reasons. One, I'm going to talk about Schnepp in just a separate video. I'm going to make a video that's just on its own about talking about Jon Schnepp. So I'm going to do that. And what's more importantly to state is I'm going to do that when I'm ready to do it. I had some, fucktwat morons last night when I was doing my video about the whole James Gunn controversy. A lot of people saying, why are you talking about Jon Schnepp? You know what? Shut your mouth. I'll talk about Jon when I'm ready to. But one of the things, too, I'll say about that is that one of the advantages that I had and that a number of people had is that there are a number of us who knew that we lost Jon over a week ago because of his condition. Like, we knew we lost Jon over a week ago. His body was still alive, but, his brain functions had stopped. And, there are protocols the hospital needs to go through. That takes time. Holly, Jon's fiance, who just handled the entire situation with such bravery, such grace. It's inspirational seeing how she navigated it. And, she played everything with most of the public closer to the vest to give herself, Jon's family space and time to process, to deal with, to make the difficult decisions they needed to. But when they announced officially on Saturday that Jon had passed, one of the, I guess it's weird using the word advantage, but one of the advantages that myself and a number of people who knew Jon had was that we had already had a number of days to process it. And we had already started our grieving process. And it's a damn shame on 1,000 different levels. But you know what? The additional little shame to it all is, man, Schnepp would have loved this Comic-Con. He would have loved this Comic-Con. And again, that's all I'm going to say about the situation right now. Again, I will make a video about my thoughts on Jon Schnepp and the passing of Jon Schnepp when I am ready to do that. And maybe that'll be later today, maybe it'll be tomorrow, maybe it'll be the next day. But it will be when I'm ready to do it and not before. So I thank you guys for all the well wishes and support and all that kind of stuff you've not only sent to me, but all the other people who knew Schnepp, particularly the support that you guys have sent to Holly, and the monumental task now that Holly faces of not only dealing with the passing of Jon Schnepp, but also facing the ludicrous medical bills that are going to be accompanying it. So a special thank you to all of you guys who actually stepped up and contributed and continue to contribute to the medical fund for Jon Schnepp so those bills can get covered and not ruin people's lives. So thank you for that. So with that being said, and out of the way, let's get to the show today. Now, the first thing that we need to cover is a little bit of housekeeping, and that's getting caught up on the last question of the day we did. Now, the last question of the day that we did was pertaining to the new Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson movie, Skyscraper, and how it only opened to $25 million. Even for a movie that nobody expected to do super well, that in and of itself even was a little low. So the question of the day was, why did Skyscraper underperform? And we gave everybody 3 options. Those 3 options were The Rock has too many movies. Only 20.34% of you guys suggested that. It was underwhelming marketing, which was, I thought the reason it underperforms is because the trailers always look bad. 53.57% of you guys said that. And another 26.09% of you said for other reasons other than The Rock has too many movies or underwhelming marketing. So the winning option, I suppose you could say, coming out of the question of the day last week was, what's the main reason Skyscraper underperformed? The majority of you guys say because it had underwhelming marketing. I happen to agree. Now, we've got a new question of the day pertaining to all the trailers that came out of Comic-Con, but we'll get to those a little bit later in the show. Okay, with all that out of the way, let's dive in to the first official question day. And how do you guys get one of your topics or question as one of the official topics on the Jon Campea Show? It's simple. You just email me anytime at john@thejoncampeashow.com. Put the word topic in the subject line. And as always, guys, keep those emails to 90 words or less. All right, let's get things moving now with the first official topic today. And the first official question today comes to us from Markus Reynolds, who writes, they didn't change release dates like some of us hoped, but they did drop the Aquaman trailer. Not sure how I feel about all the CGI, but overall, I thought it was pretty solid. What did you think of it? Live up to the hype or underwhelmed? All right, so talking about here some Aquaman trailer, I'm going to tell you what. Number one, like we said, 95% chance they weren't going to change the release date. I thought there was a 5% chance they would, 95% chance they didn't, and they didn't. Oh, well, you know what's funny, though? Somebody sent me a picture of a statue of Mera at Comic-Con, and on the little information plaque at the bottom, it said coming November 2018. So everybody's going, wait, are they going to change dates? It looks like they're not, so we'll put that one to rest. But then the trailer dropped. I'm going to tell you what. I loved this trailer. I thought this trailer was 7 kinds of spectacular. Like, seriously, I thought it was everything I would have hoped it would be. It got me with character, because really they set up the character of Aquaman, of Arthur, like going from his childhood. Oh my God. The scene that gave me the most chills, easily the most chill, I think it affected me more than most people, was that shot when all the sea creatures take formation behind him and his eyes turn yellow. I'm telling you what, I didn't just like that shot. I straight up drooled over that shot. There was something so beautiful in the imagery and the meaning of it and the weight that thing carried with it. I mean, even right from the first moment when they're kind of bullying him and the shark rams into the glass, it's like, oh yeah, I ate it up. Absolutely loved it. One of the other things I really loved about the trailer too is I was wondering, how are they going to handle the underwater stuff? Like communication, stuff like that. And I'm going to tell you what, when they're underwater and he's talking and it still had the feel of being underwater and all that kind of stuff, I thought it worked great. I was very, very big on it. I thought it worked really well. So that completely worked for me. There's some question about the CGI in it. I'll tell you what, I thought the CGI was great. I did. I mean, I don't know what people are expecting. It's an underwater kingdom of Atlantis. What did you think they were going to do? There's too much CGI. What did you want them to do? Not have Atlantis? Seriously, I thought the art design was great. I mean, and to each their own, it's all subjective. I mean, maybe you just didn't think the art design was good, and I respect that, totally get it. To me, it worked. I thought it was breathtaking. I'm sitting there watching it, and I caught my breath. Seriously, I felt me losing my breath watching it. I thought it was ambitious. I thought it was bold. I thought they were really going for it. And that's just kind of a hallmark of a James Wan film, right? Really ambitious, very bold, kind of going no guts, no glory, hit or bust kind of thing. And he went for it. And all I can speak for is myself on it. But I know when Ann and I were laying down and watching it, we were both looking at each other and going, this looks pretty good. I think it looks great. And so for me, I was just kind of losing my mind for it. Now, was it the best trailer of Comic-Con? Well, I'll talk about that in just a little bit as we have a chance to get to more things about Comic-Con. I thought the whole way they introduced Ocean Master and King Orm was great. I think, the whole challenge for the throne motif, I thought that looked great. I'm just going to look. I just found myself losing my mind for the trailer. I did. I just absolutely adored it. I know some people had some problems with it. It's all good. I mean, it's all subjective. That's fine. And look, maybe the movie will suck balls, right? It's just a trailer. DC is very good at making great trailers. We all know this. But hey, that's what we're talking about right now is the trailer. And the trailer, I thought, was all kinds of spectacular. What do you guys think about the trailer? Jump down to the comments section and let me know what you think. All right, let's move on to the second question. And the second question today comes to us from Rob Massfield, who writes, I may have missed it, but I don't remember them saying they were going to put out a Shazam trailer at Comic-Con. Very pleasantly surprised they did. I thought Zack was great. I thought the costume was great. I thought the humor was great. I'm now bloody excited to see this movie. Are you as hyped for it now as me? All right, thanks a lot for the question, Rob. And yeah, I wasn't 100% sure if they were dropping. I couldn't remember if they had announced they were dropping a Shazam trailer or not. But very pleasantly happy that they did. I thought there was a good chance they would. Very pleasantly happy that they did because the trailer is solid. And look, after I saw the trailer, or I put out a tweet that said, look, if you're going to go for the type of thing this film is going for, which we already knew they were going to go for a light tone, light-hearted, a cheery film, kind of more kids-orientated, a lot of humor, blah, blah, blah. I said in my tweet, if you're going to go for something like that, you're going to have to win everybody over with the charm of the film. You're going to have to charm people. And mission accomplished. This trailer was freaking charming. I thought it was really great. I had a lot of fun with it. Very charming. I thought Zack coming across, and look, it very much is, a lot of people making comparisons to the Tom Hanks film Big. It is Big. This movie is completely a Big ripoff, and there's nothing wrong with that. And instead now, Big has superpowers. So that's the only big difference. And you know, one of the things that really got me, and it was a smaller thing in the trailer, but it really won me over, was they had one of the best things about Spider-Man Homecoming was the relationship between Peter and Ned. That relationship between Peter and Ned was one of the most charming things about that film. And honestly, I really got that Peter and Ned vibe in this between, you know, the Shazam character and his foster brother. I guess you call it a foster brother. That would be the relationship. I thought that worked great. It had that Homecoming charm. It wasn't ripping off Homecoming any more than Homecoming was ripping off other young buddy kind of motifs. But it had that same motif. It worked very well in the trailers for me anyway. I felt their young bond. I felt their chemistry as a duo. I just liked it a lot. And that completely worked for me. Another thing, obviously, that I was really looking forward to was seeing Mark Strong. I would have liked to have seen more of Mark Strong in this trailer. Now, don't get me wrong. I didn't expect them to give everything away in this Shazam trailer. I don't expect them to show us everything. It's the first trailer. The movie's still some time away. All I'm going to say is that it would have been nice to see a little bit more of Mark Strong as your antagonist in the film, but also it's Mark freaking Strong. You just want to see more of him in a trailer, right? So that would have been good too. My one other criticism about it is a criticism that we've all had even before the trailer came out. So it's not really the trailer's fault, but that is the costume still does not work for me. The costume still is not working for me. And that's fine. It's just a costume. A great costume is not going to make a bad movie good, and an iffy costume is not going to make a good movie bad. So, okay, that's it, whatever, fine. Yes, I agree with a lot of you guys who've been tweeting with me that the costume still doesn't work, it still doesn't look all that good. I agree it doesn't, but you know what? It didn't affect my overall enjoyment of the trailer itself, because the important elements, the characters, the tone, the chemistry, that all of that stuff was there for me. So that let me get over the whole thing about, you know, the costume or not enough Mark Strong, whatever. I thought it was a very charming trailer, and that's the word that they needed to go for, charming. And it charmed our socks off. And it's a very, very different feeling kind of DC movie that Warner Brothers has ever put out. Like, this movie really did differentiate itself from all the other DC movies just like that. It felt completely different. And yet they obviously showed the obvious tie-ins with the DCU, with the Batman figure and the Superman headline and all that kind of stuff. So all that was there. And yet it felt very distinct. And it felt very unique. And so on that level, I just thought the trailer worked really great. Bravo. Other than Titans, Bravo to Warner Brothers for what they pulled off at Comic-Con, because they did a great job, both with the Aquaman and the Shazam trailers, in my opinion. All right, let's move on to the third topic, talking about really good trailers. Barton Fields writes, "Hey, John, first time, long time." Thank you so much, Barton. Let's see. "I don't know about you, but the Glass trailer was the big winner of Comic-Con. It managed to get that feel of Unbreakable with a little more flash of modern comic book movie without getting too flashy. I wasn't dying to see this movie, but I think it won Comic-Con. What say you?" All right, so a trailer that could easily get lost in the wash of the Shazam trailer and the Aquaman trailer was the trailer for Glass. And I'm telling you, look, a lot of the big question marks surrounding Glass had to do with M. Night. Yes, he put out 2 pretty solid films in a row. Could he do it with a third? Was it too late to come back to an Unbreakable sort of sequel? Was it too late? I mean, especially with Bruce Willis not giving a shit anymore about any of the movies he does. You can tell he just phones it in these days. Could that happen? You knew that Samuel L. Jackson would bring it. Like, you just knew he would bring it. And you knew James McAvoy would bring it. And how do they explain it? How do they set it up? How do they not make it feel like they're just taking 2 different properties and forcing them together? You do it by making this trailer. Hot damn. This trailer was great. And I completely, Barton, agree with your assessment of it. It had the feel of Unbreakable with a little bit more of the flair of the modern comic book movie without going too flashy. I like the way you described that. It had that flair of the modern comic book movie without getting too flashy. And just, it felt like it seamlessly meshed DNA with that original feel from Unbreakable. It's funny. It felt like it was both a faithful trailer to a comic book movie, yet also faithful to the tone of Unbreakable. That is a difficult balance to strike. And I thought they did a really good job. And just the first time you see these 3 guys sitting in the room together, I got geek bumps. I mean, that's the goosebumps you get when you're geeking out. I got geek bumps. It also sounds like a loser's erection. Yes, it does. But anyway, maybe I shouldn't use the term geek bumps anymore. But whatever. This picture got me excited. When I saw this frame in it, it just totally worked and the whole notion of the 3 of these guys sitting together doing some kind of group therapy just killed me. And then, like, especially when Mr. Glass is saying to him, like, "I want to meet the Beast." And, like, then James McAvoy, "I hope for your sake he likes you." It's like, this is awesome. And of course, just the way Samuel Jackson carries himself and presents himself. I'm telling you what, guys, I am getting so excited for this Glass movie. Like, far more excited than I thought I would be. I was looking forward to seeing Glass. I've been looking forward to seeing, what M. Night can bring to this now, especially after coming off of 2 pretty solid films with both The Visit and Split. So he's got 2 wins in a row, in my opinion. Seeing what he could do. But I wasn't expecting to get flat out excited about it. This trailer took me from here to here. That's the job of a trailer. Well done. Well done, folks over there, whoever put this trailer together, because it looked awesome. I'm very excited about it. And even Bruce Willis looks like he cares about this movie. And maybe it's just the trailer, but it actually looks like M. Night the Shyamalan got Bruce Willis to care about being in this film again. And if that's the case, then all the better, because when Bruce Willis cares, he's actually really great on screen. So let's see if that actually all carries over. Okay. Let's move on now to the 4th topic of the day. And the 4th topic today comes to us from Ben Bingham. And Ben Bingham writes, King of the monsters, all hail Godzilla, bow ye mortals. I cannot believe how awesome that trailer was. Every moment you think this can't get any better, and then it gets better and better and better. Need my white pants, I get that reference. Boom, baby, boom, boom. Very enthusiastic letter from Ben. Ben, thank you so much for sending that in. And yeah, of course, then there's that other little trailer that came and hit Comic-Con. And that was, of course, the Godzilla trailer. This Godzilla trailer looks so much infinitely better than the first Godzilla movie. And it's almost, to me, it feels like, look, we understand. The big criticism, a lot of people liked the first Godzilla movie. I enjoyed the first Godzilla movie, I did. But we understand that a lot of people's complaints about the first Godzilla movie was there was hardly any Godzilla. And whenever there was about to be a big monster fight, we instantly cut away from it. So you know what? We're going to show you in our trailer that we took that criticism to heart. And it's all monsters. You want monsters? How about Rodan? You want monsters? How about Mothra? You want monsters? How about King Ghidorah, fool? You want some of that? And they put all of that in the trailer. And it just felt awesome. Like when Godzilla comes out of the water. And we already saw an image of him doing the nuclear blast and everything. But that looked incredible. But I'm telling you what, the breathtaking moment for me of that Godzilla trailer, the absolute breathtaking moment for me, wasn't even the live action of the monsters. It was that one shot with just the silhouette of what appears to be a frozen in ice King Ghidorah. This shot right here gave me chills. Or geek bumps. But no, wait, I said I wouldn't use that term anymore. Okay, geek chills, all right? It gave me absolute chills. Tell me when you saw this frame in the trailer that you didn't at least get a little bit of a semi. I mean, come on. This looks amazing. I just got so excited when I saw it. And yes, that whole shot of like Mothra opening her wings, that looked amazing. A lot of the shots of Godzilla also looked amazing. Rodan flying through the skies, that looked, but it's that shot, man, of the silhouette of Ghidorah in the ice. That was killer to me. And I love the way too that, you know, they refer to them as the Titans. They're the Titans. I love that kind of analogy, that symbolism. That worked great for me. Look, we didn't get a lot of depth as to what's this movie really about, and that's fine. It's the first trailer. Tell us more about the story later on. Tell us more about how does this come about? What is this? They gave a little glimpse of it. They could have given a little bit more. And if this was a second or third trailer, I would have expected more. But for a first trailer, just, hey, everybody, we got this little Godzilla movie coming. Check this out. Boom! You know, Ghidorah, Rodan, Mothra, bam! Right there. I thought it was incredibly effective. It worked really well. I know a number of my buddies who I was staying with at Comic-Con were just buzzing about the Godzilla trailer. I mean, it was the Godzilla trailer for them that was completely doing it for them and completely blowing them away. So there were a lot of other trailers at Comic-Con, but I personally thought those were the four best. And you know what, guys? That brings us to the question of the day. And the question of the day today is very simply this. What was the best trailer at Comic-Con? Was it Aquaman? Was it Shazam? Was it Glass? Or was it Godzilla? Now, if you look in the description of this video, at the very bottom of the description, there is a link where you go and cast your vote for that. What was the best trailer at Comic-Con? And we've already had a whole bunch of you guys click on that link and register votes. Let me just see where we're at right now. We'll get the final tally tomorrow. But as of right now, we got about 130 people have voted, and it's close. It's close. Okay, so right now Godzilla is in the lead with 31%. We got Aquaman in second place by a hair at 25%. Shazam at 24.1%, so only 0.9% separating Shazam and Aquaman right now. And Glass at nearly 20%. So it's close. Only about 11% separates last place from first place right now. So we'll, of course, review and go over the results of our question of the day on tomorrow's show. But once again, go to the bottom of the description of this video. There you'll click the link, and you guys tell me, what was the best trailer at Comic-Con? Aquaman, Shazam, Glass, or Godzilla? Cast your vote. We'll reveal the results tomorrow. But I'd be remiss if I didn't give you my pick. Here's my pick. Best trailer out of Comic-Con. First of all, as you can tell, as I've just talked about all these, I loved all these trailers. I loved all these. I thought all four of these trailers top notch. All took your excitement level from wherever it was and increased it. But I'm going to go with Aquaman. I love the Glass trailer. I love the Godzilla trailer. I love the Shazam trailer. But to me, it was the Aquaman one that took my breath away. So by ever so slightly, I'm personally giving the crown to Aquaman But the more important question is, who do you guys give the crown to? We'll cover that in the question of the day that we'll look at tomorrow. All right. With that out of the way, let's get to the final emailed in question today. And the final emailed in question of the day today comes to us from Melissa Branson, who writes, "Hi, John. My husband and I went to my first Comic-Con. He's been there before. I had a good time, but I was really disappointed that we couldn't get into any of the big Hall H panels, or at least the ones I was interested in seeing. Why does Comic-Con have these big events that most people want to see in such a small place that almost guarantees hardly anyone can get into? Honestly, I don't think I'll be going back again." All right, thanks a lot for the email, Melissa. And Melissa, you bring up an issue that I have been talking about for a couple of years now. And that is this. I believe Comic-Con needs to move out of San Diego. I love San Diego. Ann and I, just for kicks, we go to San Diego about 3 times a year just to spend the weekend there. We love that city. And I loved my time there at Comic-Con this year. I loved going to it. Awesome. However, there are some very big practical problems with San Diego. Look, San Diego's just not built to have 150,000 people suddenly descend on it. Some of the big problems I'm often talking about is, number one, hotels. Good luck. Look, when you actually have to have a lottery to see who gets a hotel room, that's a problem. And not only that, because the demand for hotels so outweighs the supply of hotels, prices skyrockets. There are people there spending $500-$600 a night on a hotel. That's ridiculous. When normally those rooms are like $85 a night, now because of supply and demand, $500, $600, $700 a night for a hotel. Heaven help you if you want to be within walking distance. Otherwise, you're staying 5 miles away and having to cab in every day. And don't even get me started about how bad the traffic becomes at Comic-Con. So there's that. There's the size of the convention center is so small. Like I went into the convention center on Wednesday night for preview night, and it was crowded. It was nothing compared to like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, where if you try to walk around the convention center at all, you're like this. Excuse me, pardon me. When a place like Las Vegas has a convention center that's literally triple the size. Triple the size. But one of the other big problems that you just brought up is the problem of Hall H. Look, not everybody at Comic-Con wanted to go see the Godzilla panel. Not everybody at Comic-Con wanted to go see the Aquaman panel or the Warner Brothers panel or the Universal, whatever. Not everybody wanted to go. But that is the biggest thing going on at Comic-Con. It's the biggest thing going on at Comic-Con. And out of the 150,000 people that went to go to see Comic-Con this year, Hall H can only accommodate 6,500 people. Want to put that in perspective? It's this. Hall H can only hold 4.3% of the number of people that actually come to Comic-Con. Let me repeat that. Hall H, where they have the biggest main events that everybody wants to see, can only hold 4.3% of the people that come. That means 96% of the people are not going to be able to get in to see the things they want to do. And out of those 4.3% of the people who do get in, they got to stand in lines taking up huge chunks of hours to get in. Or you could go to another city. For example, city like Las Vegas. We're right there on the Strip. You've got a 20,000 seat stadium in T-Mobile Arena. And it's an indoor stadium. No worries about weather, blah, 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 blah. You still can't fit everybody in, but a hell of a lot more people could get in. That's always been one of the biggest problems with Comic-Con is that you have the biggest panels that everybody wants to see. 4% of the people can get in. So that means there were a lot of people, like I think Melissa was her name. There's a lot of people like Melissa who planned for 6 months to go to Comic-Con, probably spent in the neighborhood of $1,500 to $2,000 on hotels, booked time off work, traveled to San Diego, and they didn't get in to see the panel. That's bull. That's bull. And that's a problem. That is a problem that they need to address. Now, I've been saying for years, take Hall H and put it in Petco, the baseball stadium that's right there. Put it there. Now, that still raises concerns about weather and stuff. There's their problem there. But only having 4% of the people that come to your event being able to get into the most important thing at your event is a major, major problem, and they need to do something to address it. And I don't know what they can do other than move this thing out of San Diego to a place that can better accommodate it. But anyway, that's just my feelings on that. You guys will probably have a lot of different feelings as well. So, hey, whatever. Comic-Con's still a great time. Okay, with that out of the way, it's time for us to go to some live questions. And there's a whole bunch of live questions. I'm never going to get to all of them, but we might as well get started. So let's get things going with some live questions you guys have been sending in who are watching live. And we'll get things going with this. Curtis Lopez writes, the Godzilla trailer was surprisingly well done. Yeah, look, I was expecting a good trailer, Curtis. I was. I wasn't expecting that good. Like, I was expecting good. Even I wasn't expecting that good. It was really good. Ben Kenobi writes, in my opinion, best trailer, The Gifted Season 2. Favorite movie trailer, close, but Shazam, nice, good fun. It reminded me of Big. Yeah, it is very much going for that Big feel. And yeah, The Gifted Season 2, it's television, so I didn't really cover it, but I really like the first season of The Gifted. The Gifted Season 2 trailer looks awesome. Looks great. I highly encourage you guys, if you have not checked out The Gifted, start binging it. You can find it on one of the streaming services. Start binging it. Get caught up for season 2. I think it's really well worth it. I do. I was skeptical about that show, but I started watching it. And I'm like, yep, this is a winner to me. This is a winner to me. So check out the trailer for season 2. I think you'll enjoy that. Let's see. Curtis Lopez follows up. It seems from Godzilla that Vera Farmiga might be sort of an antagonist. Yeah, that's the feeling it gives, right? They didn't really explain it in depth, but it kind of feels like she's one of those characters of humanity is a plague upon the earth. We must unleash the Titans to rid the earth of this plague. She might be that. Or maybe this is a little bit of misdirect and maybe she's actually the hero. I don't know. We'll have to, but she does seem to have kind of a Thanos complex a little bit, right? But we'll wait to see the other trailers to see once they flesh that out a little bit more. But I think you're right. Jay Bling writes, what sucks about Gunn was that it was brought up by a noted troll who shamelessly put out tweets just as bad, if not worse, and hasn't changed. I'll jump down to Jay Bling's second continuation of that. With Guns firing the Troll 1. Well, we talked about this on the video yesterday, Jay Bling. While that is true, and I won't go into it in great detail right now, I put up a separate video about the firing of James Gunn. Was it the right move? Was it the wrong move? The one thing I've said about that is this. Yes, this was a politically motivated thing. There's no doubt about it. It was done by this politically motivated troll. Absolutely no doubt about it. However, it's not like the troll is the one who wrote those tweets. James wrote the tweets. Don't blame the guy who's just reminding everybody about the tweets. James Gunn wrote them. The troll didn't write them. James wrote them. If James didn't write them, there's nothing for the troll to do. But again, I encourage you guys. I think we had a really great conversation last night with everybody about the whole James Gunn situation. So I want to encourage everybody to just go and check that. If you're interested in it, go and check out my thoughts on the James Gunn situation and then what a lot of other people had to say about it as well. And go check that out there. Thanks for your thoughts, Jay. All right. Next one. We jump back up to Andrew Oldham, who writes, if Mr. Rogers existed in the Pixar Inside Out universe, imagine what his emotion character would be like. Also, what would have made Inside Out that would have made Inside Out a short movie. Also off topic, R.I.P. Schnepp. Well, thank you for that. And yeah, you know what? I never thought about that. Mr. Rogers in the Inside Out. Look, here's the thing. If somebody came up and told me, hey, did you know that it was discovered, Pixar has now revealed that they based Inside Out off of a short story by Mr. Fred Rogers. If somebody were to come up to me and say that with a straight face, I would buy it, right? Because once you watch Won't You Be My Neighbor, and then you watch Inside Out again, you would totally think that movie was influenced by this guy. So if somebody came up to me with a really straight face and said, hey, did you hear that Pixar just announced that they based Inside Out off of a short story written by Mr. Rogers? You would totally fool me. I would totally believe it. I would totally buy into that lie. I completely would. Okay. Let's see. Curtis Lopez writes, is it me though, or does it seem like Millie Bobby Brown is playing 11 again? Nah, I don't think so. I think it's just the thing that all you've seen her in is playing 11, right? Once you see her play more characters, you'll start to differentiate. I think once all you've seen an actor is play one character, you're naturally probably going to see that character the next time you see that person on screen. Give it some time. I never felt that at all, to be honest with you. But I think it's just, again, I think it's just a matter of you've only ever seen her play one character, so you're kind of carrying that over into seeing her again. I think we're going to see her as a very different character in Godzilla. Curtis follows up. But anyways, Warner Brothers won Comic-Con. All their trailers seem solid to great. Not all of them. Not all of them. For Batman. Can we talk for a second about how outrageously awful that Titans trailer was? Look, I have no problem, zero, with them wanting to go dark. I have no problem with that. That can be great. I have no problem with that. But here's the problem. You can be cool, but the moment you're trying to be cool, you stop being cool. You can be dark, but the moment it becomes obvious that you're just so desperately trying to be dark, it comes across as pathetic. And when I watched that Titans trailer, it was just screaming, look, we're so dark. Look at how dark we are. Ooh, look, Robin said, fuck Batman. Ooh, aren't we edgy and dark? It was pathetic. It was pathetic. I just felt bad for them. Honestly, I just felt embarrassed for them. That was awful. Like flat up, straight, unadulterated garbage. And you know what the funny thing is? The funny thing is this. If they had not put Robin saying F Batman in the trailer, and it just kind of came out in the show, it may have worked better in context. Really, honestly, if you don't put that in the trailer and we just see it in the show and see it in a context, maybe that line works. Maybe that line works great. The problem was, in a trailer that completely felt like a desperate cry for attention at, look how dark we are, everybody. Look, we're so cool. Look how dark. Ooh, we're going so dark. Look at us. When you have a trailer that just screams that, and then you throw in Robin just out of nowhere going, where's Batman? Going, fuck Batman. It just makes it feel even more pathetic. So, in my opinion, and maybe you guys feel, hey, look, I'm sure everything's subjective. There are probably a bunch of you guys that love the trailer. Awesome if you do. That's great. It did not work for me, and those are the reasons why. So, but make no mistake about it. Despite that Titans trailer, DC easily. Look, maybe Shazam isn't your favorite trailer. Maybe Aquaman isn't your favorite trailer. But the fact that that DC put out both of those trailers, I think it makes it indisputable that DC won Comic-Con. I think it's indisputable. So, and like maybe if you like Godzilla the most, you got to admit, DC putting out those two great trailers, I agree. I think DC won. Although I wouldn't say that everything they put out was all great, because I thought that Titans thing was abysmal. And who knows? The show might be awesome, right? The show might be awesome. I thought the previews for Arrow were awful, and then I really liked season 1 of Arrow. Maybe that's the same thing that happens here, right? So maybe it's just a terrible trailer, but hey, the show actually ends up being very good. So we'll have to kind of wait and see. All right, Manuel Fernandez writes, I know you're not much of a fan of this, but I'm so glad that Warner Brothers is embracing the comics and not trying to be dark, cool, and slick. They're taking the Shazam, Aquaman mythos to heart, and I like that. Well, I never thought the tone was ever the problem with any of the DC movies. I always thought that was a misdirect. I really do. I thought that tone was just being used as a scapegoat by a lot of people. I honestly don't feel like tone was a big problem. Look, Christopher Nolan's Batman films were dark as hell, and they were awesome. Tone wasn't the problem. And guess what? Here's the thing, Manuel. You say, oh, I'm glad they're sticking to the comics. A lot of the comics are dark as hell. Dark as hell. So, I don't care what tone they go for. If they want to go dark and gritty, great. Just don't look like you're trying to be dark and gritty like the Titans did. But if you want to go dark and gritty, I'm all on board. You want to go light and fun? I'm all on board. As long as you make the movie well. That's all that matters. Because guess what? If you make a bad movie, your tone isn't going to save you. If you make a bad movie, your tone is not going to save you. And if you make a great movie, your tone is just going to complement it. So I really don't care what tone they go for, as long as they do it well. You can make an Adam West style Batman movie today, and if you do it well and knock it out of the park with that light, cheesy, whatever tone, then no one's going to complain about the tone. You make a bad movie, and everybody's going to complain about the tone. And that's the way it works, which is totally understandable. Yeah, but to me, I don't feel like they embrace the comics, because like a lot of the comics is dark as hell, including comics with Shazam, including stuff with Aquaman. Like, I read New 52. There's some dark stuff in there. So, again, I don't really think... Look, I'm perfectly happy with them going with a lighter tone as long as they make a good movie. That's all that matters to me. And tone is just a side note, in my opinion. But whatever. Curtis writes, I also want to say I'm going to really miss Schnepp. His energy / fanboyness was what made the AMC Collider shows entertaining. Toast to the Sweatmaster. Absolutely. I think there's going to be a lot of people raising a glass to that. So thanks for those thoughts. Rcast6 writes, did you hear Ted Cruz wants to prosecute Gunn for his tweets? Of course he does. He's a politician. He's desperately trying to jump on any kind of bandwagon he can, if that's true. James Welsh writes, did you see the Titans trailer? Well, James, yep, as you tell, I've seen it. We already talked about it, and those are my thoughts. And again, hey, if you like the Titans trailer, that's awesome. Don't feel like you shouldn't like it. If you liked it and it worked for you, that's all that matters. It didn't work for me. I thought it was terrible, but those are just my thoughts. So take that as you will. Me telling you my opinion on something is not telling you your opinion is wrong. It's just saying, hey, this is what it was to me. So if it worked for you, that's awesome. I celebrate that it worked for you. It just clearly did not work for me. Dylan Robbins, fuck Batman. Fuck Batman. Rodrigo Ortiz writes, John, I don't know if I'm in the minority or not, but Aquaman trailer just didn't work for me. It was the Shazam trailer that I loved. Wow. Well, I mean, you're not alone. Look, I read some people who didn't like the Shazam trailer. I've been written to by some people who didn't like the Aquaman trailer. Nothing wrong with it. Hey, look, it's just like the movies themselves. It's subjective. If it didn't work for you, it didn't work for you. And you are not alone. Like I said, I've been messaged by other people who didn't like it as well. So maybe you're in the minority, but you're certainly not alone. Not at all. So don't feel bad about that. But the Shazam trailer was great, man. I thought they did a great job with that trailer. They did a great job of not only charming us, but really differentiating itself from the rest of the DCU and the rest of the DCU movies. And I thought they did a spectacular job with that. So, yeah, my anticipation level for that movie went way up. All right, DC Patience writes, Shazam, funny plus good characters. Hate the suit. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of that, DC. Is a lot of people are like, oh man, yeah, I really like that trailer. Still didn't like that costume. But the trailer was really good, and I'm kind of in that camp too. Man, this trailer is awesome. Don't like the costume, but that trailer is really good. I think there's a lot of us in that boat, DC. HV39000 writes, John, I just wanted to thank you for everything you do. Life is hard, whether it's losing people you love or financial trouble or any number of other problems. Thanks to you and movies, it's a little bit easier. Well, thank you so much for that, HV3. And it's like, look, one of the reasons I love having our online community is the fact that movies and talking about movies, I've always said this, provides a really cool oasis for us just to get away, not to retreat from the hard times that life gives us, but it gives us a moment just to step out of the room for a second. And when we have a chance in life just to step out of the room for a minute, catch our breath, maybe smile a little bit and laugh a little bit, enjoy talking about movies and debating and get involved in that kind of stuff. I have found for me in my life, and maybe this isn't true for you, but it is for me. I have found in my life that in the middle of some of the hardest times I've ever faced, watching a good movie or getting involved in a good movie conversation, whatever, it just gives my brain and my heart a little bit of a breather. And I found it gets a chance to have a little bit of a breather when I step back in to that room, when I step back into the stress and the hardship and whatever it is that life's thrown at you at the moment, I feel like we're better equipped to deal with it a little bit better, just because we've had that moment to take a breath, gain a little perspective, have a moment to smile and laugh and enjoy ourselves. And when we're able to do that, I feel like we're able to slide back in and just deal with those issues just a little bit better. And that's a really special thing. So I'm really glad that that's true for you, H3. I've got, let's see. Oh, there we go. Okay, I just had Ray text me and say that I missed a super chat question, and I did. It was Maddie Hay who writes, Godzilla 2 looked the best visually, in my opinion. Well, I mean, it looked great. Let's keep in mind, it's easy to look great. It's easier, let me say that. It is easier to look great when you're just doing silhouettes. The shots you're showing in the trailer are mostly grayed, and you're not seeing a lot of detail or whatever. It's easier to look great. And it did. It looked wonderful. It's a lot more difficult to look great when you're going into full detail, a full, like Aquaman, a full underwater city and culture and blah, blah, blah. There's like 1,000 times more difficult to make that look great than to make the stuff that we saw in Godzilla, which did look great, but it's a lot easier to make that look great in a trailer when all you're really dealing with is a lot of silhouettes, some quick shots, not a lot of detail, some wider angle shots or some extreme close-ups, things like that. It seems to me like it's a little bit easier to look good, but it did look good. It looked awesome. Now, how well it's going to look in the actual full movie, we'll have to wait and see, but I thought the last Godzilla movie looked wonderful. I thought the design and the CG in the last Godzilla movie looked great too, so I have no reason not to expect that it's going to be equally as great in this new one. All right, Phil Lee writes, Glass won the weekend for me. Hope the twist works. Yeah, whatever the twist is, it's M. Night Shyamalan, right, Phil? So it's like, we are expecting, what a twist. Do you guys know what that's from? What a twist. Anyway, we are expecting the twist, to the point that we'll almost be disappointed if there's no big twist. So here's hoping there is that big twist. Look, to me, like I said, Aquaman won, but I can't even debate you, Phil, because the Glass trailer was so good. So I can't even debate you on that. I mean, like, honestly, I have no argument with anybody who says any one of those four was their favorite. I have no argument with anybody, because I thought all four of them knocked it out of the park. But you're right, Phil, we're going to be keeping our eye open for that twist. All right, DC Patience writes, Red wig in Aquaman was bad. Not a big deal, but sad face. I don't know. It never stood out as a problem to me. Yeah, it worked for me, but okay. And you know what, D? You're the first person I've heard I've heard a lot of people complain about different things out of all the trailers. I haven't heard anybody complain about the red hair. But maybe now that you mention it, I'll watch it again and maybe I'll have a problem with it. I don't know. But I don't remember I've watched the trailer about 4 or 5 times. I don't ever think once I thought, oh, the hair doesn't work. I don't think I ever thought that. But maybe I'll go back and pay a little bit closer attention to it. Maybe it won't work for me this time. Brad Timms writes, Venom has been my favorite comic book villain since I was 5. You have no idea how excited I am to see a film where he's the main character. I think a lot of people are feeling that way. Look, there's obviously a lot of people who are apprehensive about the Venom thing for a couple reasons. One is you're doing a Venom movie without Spider-Man. That's ballsy. That's gutsy. Like we keep saying, oh, we don't want our studios to play things safe. Okay, along comes Sony, goes, all right, we're going to make a Venom standalone movie without Spider-Man. And you get some people, why are you doing it? Play it more safe and have Spider-Man in it. Like, so we often scream at studios to go, don't play it safe, take risks. And along comes Sony taking a massive risk, right? Make a Venom standalone movie without it being a Spider-Man movie, without Spider-Man. Huge risk. Sony's doing exactly what we are always telling the studios we want them to do. Take some risks. And then they take a risk, and then a whole bunch of people go, don't take that risk! Don't take that risk! So I don't know, it's kind of a lose-lose situation. Look, I'm with you. I'm all for this movie. I really like the first trailer. I have not seen the second trailer that they debuted at Comic-Con yet, because I wasn't in Hall H. So I didn't see that yet. I heard they showed a bunch of more stuff from Venom that a lot of people were very excitedly buzzing about. I thought the first trailer was good. I love that Tom Hardy's in there. I think this thing has a really good shot at being good. Now, again, it might be a total disaster. It might be a mess, but I'm one of the other people who's really looking forward to this movie. We'll see how they do. And maybe it'll suck. We'll find out. Miles Pardo writes, thoughts on Fantastic Beasts 2 trailer? Liked it a lot. I mean, it didn't blow my socks off. It's not like... It wasn't on the same level to me as the Glass trailer, the Godzilla trailer, the Shazam trailer, the Aquaman trailer. But it's a solid trailer. It is a solid trailer. Now, I'm already looking forward to Fantastic Beasts 2, so I don't know that my needle moved all that much because I'm already excited to see it. But it was a solid trailer. I just didn't think it was on the same level as those other four. But yes, it was a solid trailer. I did enjoy it. Rami J. Royster writes, it's going to be an Alien and Predator weekend, September 14th. Aliens and the Predator on the big screen, and Alien versus Predator, the arcade game. Oh, I didn't know there was an arcade game coming. That's interesting. You know, I'm getting very curious about this Predator movie. I'm getting very curious. Okay, first of all, you've got the director, you got Shane in there, right? Shane Black directing Predator. Shane Black is a great filmmaker. He's a great writer, a great director. I love his movies. His last movie, The Nice Guys, was one of the best films of the year, in my opinion. Totally underrated film. Fabulous stuff. So I've been anticipating that. I like the trailer. It's going to be interesting to see where they go with it. So, but I didn't know about that Alien versus Predator game. I mean, that is a property, Alien versus Predator, that is much better suited to be a game than a movie, obviously. So we'll have to keep our eyes open for that. Let's see. Alexander Helmer writes, watched Rain Man and reminded me about why film is beautiful. Dude, I've got a number of movies that when I want to be reminded about why I love the movies, that I kind of go back to. They're not necessarily my favorite movies, but they're like movies that remind me about what the power of movies and why I love the movies. One of the ones that I go back to a lot is a relatively new film. It was Emma Stone's The Help. That movie to me is kind of representative of why I love the movies. It's powerful. It says something. It's also entertaining, and you get engaged in the film. You get wrapped up in the film. I just love that movie, The Help. There's Paddington is another great movie that I love. A totally different kind of movie, but I'll go back and watch Paddington just to remind me of the magic of the movies. Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. When you see really what you're capable of doing with storytelling, you know, there's a number of movies like that. And Rain Man is another great one like that when you want to be reminded about how powerful and beautiful movies can be. Alexander Helmer follows it up with, excitement for Titans went from 9 out of 10 to a 2 out of 10. Look, I'm telling you what, the whole purpose of them showing a Titans trailer was to rev up excitement for people buying the subscription service. I think that trailer hurt them. I do. I think that trailer may have turned people off of buying the subscription service. Now, that's not true of everybody. I'm sure there's a bunch of people out there who like the trailer and go, hey, I like that. I'm going to get this service. And that's great. But I also think there's probably a lot of people, because even I was starting to think, maybe I'll get this Warner Brothers streaming service. Maybe I'll get this DC streaming service. Then I saw that Titans trailer. I'm like, nope. At least I'm not going to advance buy it. I'm not going to order it in advance. I'll wait and see how people say the show is. If people say the show's great, I might give it some thought. I might still get it. But that trailer completely turned me off the idea of getting it in advance. So that idea is gone. All right, guys, I just have time for a couple more questions. Then we're going to have to call it a day here. We're already over time. Jerome Lim writes, it was great meeting you at San Diego Comic-Con. Your presentation, it was informative and entertaining. Thank you so much, Jerome. Yeah, we had a great time doing our Masters of the Web panel, talking about getting started in YouTubing and things. I had a great time with that. Thank you so much, Jerome, for coming up and saying hello, and to everybody who came up and said hello while we were there. I had my picture taken a lot while I was at Comic-Con this year. It was really great. So thanks for that, Jerome. I really appreciate that. All right. Ben Hayusa writes, how are you doing, John? Wish Schnepp was here today to see them awesome trailers. Still breaks my heart that he's no longer with us. It absolutely, and you're right. He would have loved this Comic-Con. And I'll tell you right now, he would have loved all four of those trailers. He would have loved that Glass trailer. He would have lost his mind for the Godzilla trailer. He would have loved that Aquaman trailer. And he would have loved the Shazam trailer. I think he would have loved all those damn things. And yeah, his presence was sorely missed at Comic-Con. Let's see. I can't think of a good username writes, is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 getting pushed back? And are they throwing away Gunn's script? Don't know at this point. Don't know. Now, the interesting thing here is whatever James Gunn has written does belong to Disney. So if Disney likes the script, they can stick with it or they can rewrite it. Their choice. I have a feeling I don't know how they stick to their release date, although they've never announced an official release date, I don't believe. I think they've said 2020, but I don't think they've ever set a release date. So I guess it depends. Like, if they want to keep a script, it's not that big of a task to go out and get a new director and then to keep everything moving. If they want to rewrite the script from scratch, they might have to push it back. Really, as of right now, we just don't know. But I do think if they keep the script that he wrote, or at least keep that as the main base and just do a few passes on it, you could keep whatever date they were targeting for. If not, they might have to move. We're just going to have to wait and get some official information. All right, 2 more questions here. We're going to call it a day. Cobra writes, for me, it was Godzilla hands down. I mean, and again, it's hard to argue with that because it was so good. It's so good. Like, there's so many, oh my God, it's Mothra. Oh my God, it's Ghidorah. Like, there's so much of that in the trailer. So it's not my favorite. I think the Aquaman one was the best. But I like that Godzilla one so much, I just can't argue with you, Cobra. I mean, it's just so good. And the final question today comes to us from SSJR Goku Black, who writes, what was the best Arrowverse trailer for you at Comic-Con? I honestly didn't watch any of them. I obviously was distracted a lot at Comic-Con this year. I did not see any of the Arrowverse trailers yet. Not high on my priority list, to be honest with you. So I'll have to wait and see. I'll get around to watch them here pretty quick. I'll get around to watch them, and then we'll see where we go. All right, I'm going to head over here one last time just to check out to see where we're at with that poll that we've got, the new question of the day about what was the best trailer at Comic-Con. And already 500 of you have already voted. And Godzilla is still in the lead. Godzilla is still in the lead with 34%. Aquaman is in second with 24.3%. Then Shazam at 24.1%. And then Glass is 16.7%. Again, lots of time still to vote, guys. We're not going to reveal the results until tomorrow's the Jon Campea show. Go down in the description of this video, bottom of the description, you'll find the link. Go and get the questions answered there. Now, to all of you guys who sent in live questions that we didn't have time to get around to, don't worry, I'm going to take all those questions that are left over and I'm going to add them to an upcoming companion video. And look, I know I have a lot of companion videos to get caught up on. Obviously with Comic-Con, there was an internet problem where I fell way behind, and I am way behind on my companion videos. But do not worry, over the next 24 to 48 hours, I'm going to go like a madman and get caught up on all these things. So within the next 2 days, you are going to see your questions that you sent in today on a companion video. So don't worry, those will get addressed. Okay, guys, that will do it for me for today's installment of the Jon Campea Show. Listen, do me a favor. Whatever you're doing, stop for a second. If you're not already a subscriber to my YouTube channel, click on that subscribe button. Become a subscriber to my YouTube channel. Keep updated on all the stuff we got going on here. Also, guys, listen, if you do enjoy my shows and you like my programming, do me this one favor. Go over and at least just check out www.patreon.com/JonCampea. There you'll get all the information about what it means to be a Patreon supporter of this show, how being a Patreon supporter keeps these shows on the air, and then, of course, what benefits there are to being a Patreon. We have a couple of perks for being a Patreon supporter, like audio-only versions of the podcast, like an exclusive Facebook group, and a few other things along the way as well. So just go check that out, and maybe you'll become one of our Patreon supporters too. All right, guys, that will do it for me for today. Thanks so much for joining me. My name's Jon Campea. Have yourself a day filled with awesomeness, and until the next time, bye-bye.